hearing the stories and recognizing the heroes in our lives that continue to make a difference. This is Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank. Here's Steve Scaffidi and Kristen Bry.
And every day this week we are honoring some of those first responders. It's a rare week because we have 6, actually. We have co-honorees on Thursday's program. We got a good one today. All of these stories are vastly different, and they're all touching different pieces of the story, the great story that is the first responder legacy, right? The things they do every day for all of us who, some of these things go unreported. Some are reported, not necessarily in the nicest way, but this is a positive story, and today is a really good one. We are joined in studio by the nominator. She is Christy Jaramillo, who nominated her husband, Mark, who's also in studio here, who's not only a chaplain, but also a pastor, and you're co-pastors at Norway Lutheran Church in Wind Lake. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start with you, Christy, because you started the process. You nominated Mark, who, and I've read what he does for a lot of different districts. I've read some of the things he does in his role as a faith leader. Why did you nominate him?
Because there's nobody better.
You're obviously biased.
I am a little biased, but I've been working side by side with him at the church for 20 years plus now. So we do a lot of things together, but the firefighter chaplaincy, he does all on his own. You know, I watch that one from afar, and I'm impressed every day at the commitment he gives, the time he gives to the ladies and gentlemen that he helps, and just the fantastic work ethic he has to help people.
I'm going to ask him the same question, but when you know him as a pastor,
yes,
and you said you let him sort of do his chaplaincy, how do some of the things that he does as pastor or co-pastor in this case sort of translate to that, do you think?
Well, the love of people is an immediate transfer. I mean, both of us care a lot about the people we serve at Norway Lutheran Church and have served at other churches. And I think that it easily translates into the community. We care about the community folks too. And when they came to him and said, we need a chaplain for the volunteer fire service then, it was Wind Lake Volunteer Firefighter Service then.
So Mark, for people who maybe are unfamiliar, what does a chaplain for a fire department actually do?
That's a great question. Funny story, just a little brief one. When the chief came to me back in 2011, he goes, would you be our chaplain? And I asked him specifically, well, what does that mean? He looked at me and said, I have no idea.
I just know that we need one.
We need one because that's what they tell us we need. And
Honest answer.
That's right. And so it really was a learning process. And what I learned was that the first and foremost, to be a chaplain, I do the official acts. I do debriefings and defusings. Those are events that come up after major events, suicides, killings, deaths, those kind of things. And it's an assessment. It's to make sure that the first responders, and that includes not only my fire, medics, EMTs, but it also includes the sheriff's department, police department, it can be the hospital personnel, all of them. We have to make sure that they're okay. We have to make sure, and that's what a defusing is. It's immediately after the event to make sure that they're stable.
It's not just Norway Fire Department either. You touch a lot of different departments. Just run through that list.
All of the departments that are west of 94. So I have Norway, Waterford, Wind Lake, Michigan. I have everything from Caledonia to Test Corners to Union Grove, Burlington, and that's the fire departments. And then you include in there all the sheriff's departments as well as all of the police departments for all the different municipalities.
Unbiased again, everybody loves him. Once you meet him and work with him, they want to come back.
I can tell you that I know a bunch of police chaplains, including the one in Oak Creek, and they are well loved and appreciated. So again, the question I asked Christy, so what translates, and I kind of know the answer, but from your role as co-pastor to your role as chaplain?
It's not hard at all. To be a pastor in our tradition, and I think, well, now I won't even say that, to be a pastor as we see it, you have to love people. Mm-hmm. All of them, their warts, their beautiful marks, everything, because it gives you a chance to not only begin to see, we're obviously Christian pastors, just to let everybody know. And so I believe that every single person created by God is a beautiful expression. I get to meet them. I get to talk to them. I get to see them. So it's not something that's a burden. It's a blessing. With that understanding, that's how we do our ministry. We look at our church. We look at the people that come in. whether you're a member or not, I don't care. I get to meet you. I get to be with you. And so that passion and I guess that love is what allowed me to be a chaplain. To be very, very honest, the reason I initially started this is I wanted to drive fire trucks. I wanted to drive
You and every
ambulances.
3-year-old toddler.
It's true. And not only that, they dress you up.
Oh, yeah.
And so you get to wear the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so the first time they stuck me behind, they're training me, obviously. The first time they stuck me behind the engine, they're like, go ahead, put on the lights. And I'm like, yay! That's excellent. That's how it started, Steve. Just again, to be honest.
That's a great. I love the honesty.
Yeah, and I love the humor that you've brought to it as well. We'll take a break here, but I want to get to there are difficult days in this position, and I want to talk a little bit about your role in some of those conversations. Not specific, but generally. We are joined by our third honoree. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the feature after the break because we sort of had so much fun talking. We're going to play the feature after the break, and then we're going to come back and ask him a lot more questions. Our third honoree is Mark Jaramillo and his lovely wife, Christy, who nominated him. Quick break, feature. We'll play it right out of the break, and then we'll get to our questions. This is a good one. I'm enjoying the heck out of this day. All right, quick break.
Hi, I'm Christy Jaramillo. I'm nominating my husband, Mark Jaramillo, for the Salute to Service.
Hi, I'm Mark Jaramillo. I am the chaplain with the Norway Fire Department.
I think he's one of the most giving people I've ever known in my life.
I've actually been a pastor coming up on 30 years, and very proud that 27 of those years have actually been with my wife as colleagues. And this absolutely shapes everything that I am, do, and how I even relate to this world.
He is always going. He's always trying to find the next way, the better way to help people. And once he connected with the firefighter community out here, he just knew that he had to connect in the full capacity.
If I'm going to be a pastor, if I'm going to be anybody, I have to be authentic. And because of that, I've always looked at what can I do to make a difference. 2011, I was approached by the chief of Norway Fire Department, and he looked at me and said, "Do you want to be a chaplain?" I looked at him and I went, "Well, what the heck does that mean?" He goes, "I don't know, but we'll figure it out together." And at that point, I had a pretty amazing experience just getting to be part of the department, but I quickly learned that for first responders, if you really truly want to be a part of their world, and if you want them to be able to trust you, you have to be one of them.
So he did all the training.
I ended up getting my certification as a firefighter, and then shortly after that, I became an EMT. And that was probably the best gift I could give to myself. Not only did I learn new skills, but it allowed me to really walk with people, particularly our first responders and all the stuff they have to deal with.
It's been a little crazy around here to juggle everything.
I work with not only Norway Fire Department, but I have Waterford, Michigan, Burlington, and all of those departments, as well as the sheriffs and police departments, have consistently sent me people to help, or people to talk to, or people who just want to have a person to reflect with.
The things he can do in a conversation now, he can help people tell their stories in a way that can help them get through it, whatever it is.
It's enhanced everything. And I can say that because my job as a pastor is to bring a real experience of life, but I have to bring it in a very real context, a real way, in a real world with very real eyes. I don't wear rosy-colored glasses. As a leader, I have to live the life that I keep asking them to live, which is a life that's fruitful, productive, as well as loving. It doesn't surprise me when maybe 2 or 3 months after I've helped them dealing with a stroke or some kind of crisis, they show up at my church and they're like, "I know you."
What does salute to service mean to you?
I'm humbled. Brother, I'm a grunt. Whenever I heard from my wife that this was an honor given to me, I'm like, come on. I see our sheriffs, our police, our dispatchers, our hospital employees. I see what they go through, and I can tell you, these are amazing people. The medics, the EMTs, all of them. Their love and commitment to this community transcends any kind of award that I could see. So for me to get this, good Lord, I don't know. I can't believe I got it. I'll stop there.
That is a good place to stop. And I asked you about the connection between pastor and chaplain, and it's pretty evident that you understand that those things sort of match and come together. Our third Salute to Service honoree this week is Mark Jaramillo. He's joined by his nominator, his wife, Christy. That's not an easy job, and I don't want to just gloss over because you're a fun guy and you're obviously an incredible communicator, which I appreciate as someone who does what I do and what Kristen does. But you have difficult conversations, and I would imagine, again, that the faith plays a role in that. You're a chaplain for a reason because you have that infrastructure, that basis for having those conversations. When you have those difficult conversations, I imagine it all comes into play.
It does, particularly the faith element. But to be a chaplain, you have to be cognizant that not everybody follows the same line of faith, the same approach, whether it's being a Christian or not, or even looking at those who are Jewish or Muslim. You have to be aware of that. So being a chaplain, you have to be able to walk with people where they're at. And the faith element comes in when they bring it. It's not my job as a chaplain to evangelize. It is my job to be there in the way they need so that it's, again, for them, an honest reflection of what they're dealing with. They're first responders. All of them, including myself, have consistently seen things that no human being wants to see.
And real quick, not just that commitment to your job, but one of the things that was mentioned in the piece and that Christy mentioned in her nomination, obviously a pastor, chaplain, trained as a firefighter, trained as an EMT, and I believe also a licensed therapist.
Yeah, he graduated last Sunday.
That's what I was saying when we first interviewed you.
Yes.
That you also so lifelong learner. This one over here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like, age is not a barrier to education, and Mark Jaramillo is a tremendous example of that. We asked you in the piece what Salute to Service means to you. I'll ask Christy as we sort of wrap it up. What do you think it means?
Salute to Service is a wonderful way to say thank you. I mean, there's so many people over the years that he's helped. And I think this is one way for all of us to say thank you for what you do.
Incredibly well said. And I've made this point every day on the 3 days of Waterstone Banks and WTMJ Salute to Service. How you write a nomination matters. And the ones that we eventually pick are the ones that stand out because of what the nominator says about the person. The person, we know they're all amazing because they're all first responders in their own different ways. And we have incredible people that get nominated that I can't pick, and I wish I could. And I try to reach out to all those people. But thank you for the great nomination, Christy. And Mark, keep up the good work. I mean, just that is you talk about a life well served. You are demonstrating that each and every day. And the commitment to your education, the commitment to your work in the faith community is absolutely, first and foremost, impressive. So thank you for the work that you do as a first responder.
Absolutely.
We are doing this because of the great folks at Waterstone Bank. We have a bunch of gifts for you that we will mail to you. They're gift certificates from the Packing House and Botanas and some of our other great partners. The Air and Water Show. You get to go to the Air and Water Show and see the Blue Angels. How about that?
Awesome.
So all of those great things are a small reward for your great service. But I want to thank you both for being here for our Salute to Service.
Thank you.